What if I told you that the Bible you know is incomplete? That there exists another version, one so filled with mysteries and divine secrets that early Christian leaders banned it? This is no ordinary Bible. It contains 88 books, not the 66 you find in most Christian traditions. These extra texts were considered so controversial, so mystical, that they were hidden away, only preserved by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. But why? Why were these books kept from us? What truths were deemed too dangerous to share? And what can we learn from them today? Join me as we unlock the secrets of the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, a collection of scriptures that holds the key to understanding some of the most profound and astonishing revelations in Christian history. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why these books were silenced and what they reveal about angels, demons, and the ultimate fate of humanity. The Bible you haven't heard of. Most people are familiar with the Christian Bible, whether it's the King James Version, the Christian Standard Bible, or another translation, all of which contain 66 books. But there's another Bible, one most people have never heard of. The Ethiopian Orthodox Bible has 88 books, including 22 texts that were banned by early Christian leaders. These aren't mere commentaries or footnotes. They are fully fledged scriptures that tell stories of ancient prophecies, spiritual beings, and cosmic struggles that have been hidden from the rest of the Christian world for centuries. They contain wisdom that challenges the very foundation of mainstream Christian teachings. But why were these books rejected by the early church? What made them too dangerous to include in the Bible we know today? The reasons are as mysterious as the texts themselves. Why these books were forbidden. The early Christian church was at a crossroads during the 3rd and 4th centuries. As the church grew, it faced the challenge of unifying its teachings across different cultures and regions. Councils were formed to decide which scriptures would make up the official Bible. The Council of Nicaea in 325 AD was one of the most important, as it played a key role in shaping Christian doctrine and determining the biblical canon. Many of the books found in the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible were excluded during these early councils. The reasons were complex. Some of these texts were seen as too mystical or too speculative, others too closely tied to Jewish traditions, and some were feared for their potential to encourage heresy. Western church leaders wanted to establish a unified doctrine, and these extra books were viewed as potential sources of division. Take, for example, the Book of Enoch, one of the most famous excluded texts. This book tells a gripping tale of fallen angels, known as the Watchers, who rebelled against God by descending to earth and interacting with humans. These angels took human wives and produced a race of giants, the Nephilim, who caused chaos and corruption. The Book of Enoch goes even further, describing the cosmic punishment awaiting these angels, as well as their ultimate role in the final judgment of the world. But the stories didn't stop at angels. The story Book of Jubilees presents a different kind of narrative. It offers a retelling of biblical history that focuses on Jewish law and the eternal importance of following divine commandments. Jubilees insists on observing the Sabbath, dietary restrictions, and other Jewish customs in a way that made early Christian leaders uncomfortable. At a time when Christianity was trying to separate itself from Judaism, these texts were seen as too tied to the old ways. Another set of controversial books was the Books of Maccabees. While many Christians are familiar with the 1st and 2nd Maccabees, the Ethiopian Bible contains 3 books of Maccabees. These texts tell the heroic stories of Jewish resistance against foreign rulers and are filled with accounts of divine intervention. The bravery and faith of the Jewish people during these times of persecution stood as a powerful example, but these stories also presented ideas that didn't align with the emerging Christian doctrines. In the end, many of these texts were considered dangerous. They didn't fit neatly into the theological framework the early church was trying to build. They offered too much speculation on the unseen world of angels, cosmic battles, and the divine law. And so these books were banned from the Bible most of the world knows today. But while the West chose to exclude these sacred texts, Ethiopia embraced them. And by doing so, Ethiopia preserved a version of Christianity that includes some of the most fascinating and powerful spiritual writings ever recorded. Ethiopia's unique role in biblical history. To understand why Ethiopia kept these banned books, we need to look at Ethiopia's deep and ancient connection to biblical history. Ethiopia's Christian heritage goes back further than most people realize. It wasn't influenced by European missionaries or colonial powers, but by its own early adoption of the faith. In fact, Ethiopia became one of the first nations in the world to officially adopt Christianity as its state religion, long before Christianity spread across Europe. According to Ethiopian tradition, the roots of this connection go back to the time of King Solomon. The story of the Queen of Sheba, who traveled from Ethiopia to meet Solomon in Jerusalem, is well known in the West, but the Ethiopian version of the story tells us much more. In Ethiopian tradition, the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon had a son named Menelik, who would go on to become the first emperor of Ethiopia. But that's not all. According to Ethiopian belief, Menelik did something extraordinary. He brought the Ark of the Covenant back to Ethiopia. The Ark, which contain the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, is said to have been kept in Ethiopia ever since, linking Ethiopia directly to Israel's sacred history and God's divine plan. This connection gave Ethiopia a special spiritual status, and it explains why Ethiopia chose to preserve texts that were excluded by Western Christianity. Ethiopia's religious traditions remained largely untouched by the theological debates and political struggles that shaped the Western Christian canon. Instead, Ethiopia maintained its spiritual independence and held on to these ancient books, preserving them for future generations. What's inside these forbidden texts? Now let's dive into the content of these forbidden books. What secrets do they hold, and why were they seen as so dangerous? The Book of Enoch, as I mentioned earlier, is perhaps the most well-known of the banned books. It provides a detailed account of the fall of the Watcher's angels sent to watch over humanity, who instead fell from grace. These angels became obsessed with human women and took them as wives, producing a race of giants known as the Nephilim. The corruption and violence of the Nephilim led to widespread chaos on earth, and God decided to intervene by sending the Great Flood to cleanse the world of their influence. The Book of Enoch doesn't stop at telling the story of the Nephilim. It also delves into the cosmic order, describing the hierarchy of angels, the workings of heaven, and the role of angelic beings in human history. It goes on to prophesy the final judgment, where both humans and fallen angels will face divine justice. This vivid portrayal of the cosmic battle between good and evil is unlike anything found in the standard Bible. Another fascinating text is the Book of Jubilees, which offers a unique retelling of biblical history, from creation to the giving of the law at Mount Sinai. Jubilees emphasizes the importance of following God's laws, particularly the observance of the Sabbath and other Jewish customs. It also introduces a solar calendar, which it claims was the original system set by God. This calendar, with its 364 days, is still used by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church today, reflecting their belief that humanity should remain in alignment with God's creation. Then there are the Books of Maccabees, which recount the Jewish revolt against foreign rulers. The first and second books of Maccabees focus on the rebellion against the Seleucid Empire, particularly the efforts of Judas Maccabeus to reclaim the temple in Jerusalem. This victory is still celebrated today in the Jewish festival of Hanukkah, but Ethiopia's version includes a third book of Maccabees, which tells a different story, one of Jewish persecution under the Ptolemaic dynasty in Egypt. In this account, divine intervention saves the Jewish people from death, reinforcing the theme that faith and resistance bring about miraculous outcomes. The Ascension of Isaiah is one of the most mystical texts found in the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible. It tells the story of the prophet Isaiah's journey through the seven heavens, where he witnesses the cosmic battle between good and evil. Isaiah is shown the throne of God, the ranks of angels, and the forces of darkness, including Satan. He also receives a prophecy about the Messiah's descent to earth, where he will be crucified and rise again, ultimately defeating Satan and returning to heaven in triumph. These texts give us a glimpse into a world that most Christians have never seen, a world of angels, demons, cosmic battles, and divine law that plays a central role in the fate of humanity. But why were these stories seen as too dangerous for the Western Christian canon? Why should we care about these texts today? You might be wondering, why does this matter now? These are ancient stories. What relevance could they possibly have today? The truth is, these texts hold timeless spiritual truths that are more relevant now than ever. The Book of Enoch, for example, offers a powerful warning about the dangers of forbidden knowledge and the consequences of straying from divine law. The Watchers gave humanity knowledge that was never meant for them, knowledge of warfare, sorcery, and astrology. This knowledge, while powerful, ultimately led to corruption and destruction. In today's world, where we see rapid advancements in technology and power, the story of the Watchers serves as a reminder of the potential dangers of acquiring knowledge without wisdom. The Book of Jubilees emphasizes the importance of living in harmony with God's law. It warns that deviating from God's divine calendar and laws can lead to chaos and misalignment with the universe. As we witness growing unrest and natural disasters in our world, could it be that we have lost touch with the divine order that these texts urge us to follow? The Books of Maccabees remind us of the power of faith and resistance in the face of oppression. In these stories, the Jewish people stood up for their beliefs, even when faced with certain death, and their faith brought about divine intervention. In today's world, where religious freedom and human rights are constantly under threat, these stories offer hope and inspiration for those who continue to fight for justice. The Ascension of Isaiah offers a profound vision of the cosmic battle between good and evil, a battle that is still being fought today. In this vision, Isaiah sees the forces of darkness trying to overthrow the divine order, but he also sees the ultimate victory of the Messiah, who descends to earth, defeats Satan, and returns to heaven in triumph. This story reminds us that while the struggle between good and evil is ongoing, the outcome has already been decided. The forces of light will prevail. Colonialism and the marginalization of Ethiopia's Bible. During the colonial era, Ethiopia's unique Christian heritage came under attack. European colonial powers, particularly Italy, viewed Ethiopia's spiritual independence and its connection to ancient biblical traditions as a threat to their dominance. Ethiopia wasn't just another colony to be conquered. It was a Christian nation with a history and religious identity that predated much of Europe's own Christian history. The Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, with its extra books and unique traditions, became a symbol of Ethiopia's spiritual sovereignty. Colonial powers sought to marginalize these texts and impose Western religious views, but Ethiopia resisted, preserving its ancient scriptures and maintaining its spiritual independence. Today, the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible stands as a testament to a Christian tradition that has remained untouched by Western influence. It offers us a glimpse into a world of spiritual knowledge and divine wisdom that has been hidden for centuries. A call to rediscover the lost books of the Bible. As we uncover the secrets of the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, one thing becomes clear. These texts hold profound spiritual insights that challenge our understanding of the Bible and Christian history. They offer us a deeper, richer view of the cosmic forces shaping our world and our place in the divine plan. It's time for these hidden books to come back into the light. We can no longer afford to ignore the wisdom they contain. In a world filled with uncertainty, these texts offer us guidance, hope, and a clearer understanding of the spiritual battles we face. If this exploration has opened your eyes to the mysteries of the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible, don't stop here. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with others who are ready to dive deep into the Bible's hidden secrets. Let's bring these ancient truths back into the light where they belong.